Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I am your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is November 30th, 2022. I hope everyone had a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday. I was celebrating with some family and friends, and we just had a fantastic time. It was good to take a little bit of a breather. In case you missed it last week, we did not have a show on Wednesday, but we did release a really fun video that Annie from the marketing team helped me put together. My family and I have this tradition where we go to this grocery store and shop for the food bank. So we shared that exercise with you. And so go check it out on YouTube. It's kind of funny. She did a fantastic job. So consider doing it with your family and friends this holiday season to support your local food banks. We are heading into my favorite season of the year, and tomorrow for KHM Advisors, we kick off the 12 days of learning. So each day we are going to highlight a fantastic learning opportunity with KHM or the industry. And we are going to put those on all of our outlets: Facebook Live, the portal, Agent Access Weekly, the Insider, and of course here at KHM Today. So hi guys, so good to see you. Sheila, I hope you're doing great. Hi Ashley. I hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I'm seeing everyone pop on. Be sure to put your name so I know who you are. So anyways, you're going to start to see 12 days of learning, and it's going to be so much fun. And we've got some great things that we're releasing for you guys over the next 12 days. So on that same vein, we would love to hear from all of you. So you've got an assignment over the next couple of weeks. We would love for you to upload a video to the agent portal page, sharing why you love what you do, your favorite educational moment, favorite event moment, something fun that you've experienced during your time at KHM. Go ahead and upload them to the agent only Facebook page. You're going to hashtag KHM Today. And I'd love for you guys to tag myself and Bill Coyle so that you do not, so that we don't miss it in the thread. So we'd love for you to do this between the 1st and the 16th or 15th of December, I should say, because we want a chance to look at those. And one lucky winner is going to be in a drawing or win $50 in KHM cash to be used towards a 2023 educational event. So instructions will be in the portal. They'll be on Facebook. So you'll have lots of opportunities, but we'd love to see your videos. All right, we have the most incredible show today. But speaking of 2023 events, please welcome Beth Klubnik and Bill Coyle from KHM to share what you've all been waiting for, the event schedule for 2023. Woo!
We're finally doing it.
We're finally doing it, and so far in advance. Like, I just love that this is going to be out there. And okay, I've never, Plum Crazy Adventures. Hi, I love your business name. I think that's fantastic. Plum Crazy. You guys,
It is awesome.
That is an awesome
this
name.
is a lot of work to put together an event schedule for an entire year. Beth, what does that look like for you? Because this is your baby.
Oh, let me tell you, it's very difficult, but it's a lot of fun because I enjoy planning all these events for the agents and working with my buddy here, Bill, on getting all of this fun stuff out for you. But you know, the biggest thing we're working on right now is obviously our Crystal Conference and Awards that's coming up the end of February on board Royal Caribbean Harmony of the Seas. And we've had a couple of our friends cancel. So yes, unfortunately, but that's kind of might be a good thing if you kind of missed to be able to register. We have some cabins available. So if anybody wants to jump on board, please go to the portal page under in-person events and register. You need to book by this weekend, by Friday, because final payments actually due on the 1st. But I mean, some of our friends couldn't make it, so we didn't want to leave anybody behind that might have forgot it, missed it, or whatever. So we do have space available, and I really don't want to give those cabins back, Bill.
Exactly. I agree with you. We want you there. So anything it's going to take to get you there, I agree. It would be nice to have you all with us. Yeah. Get on that page, get registered. You know, it's that idea. And Carolyn, I know this is your first one, and it's going to be so exciting for you to be with us. But when I started with KHM, I didn't really understand what it was all about to go to this type of event. I'll never forget the first year. I'm like, oh, you guys go ahead. It's our busy season. I'm going to stay back and book travel. Then I went and I'm like, I can never miss this again, right? It was the idea that said, oh my gosh, it's just that it's kind of like it's a new beginning for the new year, but it's a crescendo of the past year. And it's just like this opportunity for us all to be together, sharing the joy of our accomplishments, and then look forward to what's going to happen next year. And we haven't had it in how long?
Oh, it's been 3 years.
3 years. Like, that's unbelievable to think about that. You know, what stopped us from having it is never going to stop us again, right? How can we move forward together? And that's why I think it's just a great opportunity. I feel bad for those who had to cancel, but it is an opportunity for anyone who can join us. It would be our pleasure to have you on board.
Yeah, and they didn't cancel because they didn't want to come with us. It was just different work things and schedules. It just didn't work out. But Crystal is just such a great way to kick off your educational mindset for 2023. And what better way to do it than attend Crystal, visit with all the advisors, all the staff that comes with us. Bill, Carolyn, it's so great and you get energized. And then I guess you kick off, boot camp's going to come, and then my world doesn't stop.
I truly feel like boot camp, or I should say in-person events, are like an IV. It is so nourishing. And you just feel better after it. So if no matter what your mindset is around the business, attend an in-person event, because you will feel this automatic boost to your business, your mindset around this, just the people around you. So, all right, Bill, 1.0 dates. What are they?
Drum roll, Beth. Here we go. Okay, 1.0 dates. We're super excited about this. We talked about not starting until May. Carolyn said, listen, let's get them re-energized. Beth made it happen with her team. So we've got March 21st to the 24th is our first Boot Camp 1.0. Now, I know registration for that's going to come after the 12 days of Christmas. But the save the date will come out today or tomorrow. This is your save the date. Boot Camp 2.0. Are you ready for this? May 2nd through the 5th. And then, are we announcing the other dates right now?
Yeah,
go for it.
Give it all.
Put out all the dates. All right, so Boot Camp 1.0, again, March 21st through the 24th. Boot Camp 1.0, the second one is going to be October 10th through the 13th. So if you can't make the first one, you'll be able to register for the second one, and we'll let you know when that release date is going to be. Boot Camp 2.0, May 2nd through the 5th, and November 7th through the 10th. So you're saying, wait a minute, what's the difference between 1.0 and 2.0? It's really a variation of your level, where you are in the journey, right? New agents all the way up to base camp. Even some pinnacle agents come to 1.0. So listen, get there. Like Carolyn says, get re-energized, get rebooted. But we'd love to have you at 1.0. 2.0 tends to be that base camp to gold agent. It's kind of just a slight step up. It's a little bit different learning levels. But we've got 2 opportunities for you to be with us then as well.
And then one of the most amazing events that I think I've ever been to in my 15-year career is Destination Success. This was so fun last year. The energy in the room, the suppliers, the giveaways. Beth, what are our dates this year?
So we're excited. We're going to be doing it again in July, and we're going to be having Destination Success July 25th through the 28th. And that's going to be here in Cleveland again. So, like I said, I kick off 23 with my boots running, and I keep going, and I'm starting to look into 24 because 23 is done. Time to move on to the next year.
So true.
And I think the fantastic part is that for all of you that are listening, are here live, watching it later, listening on the podcast, we are releasing this so that you can now plan out your year and you can determine what it is you can go to. And we're not giving this to you, well, we never give anything too last minute, but you really have time to plan out your year, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and start looking for those flights. So the first 2 registrations are going to open after the 12 days of learning, somewhere around the 20th, right, Beth, of December. And that'll be the first date for Boot Camp 1.0 and the first date for 2.0. So you won't be able to register for the whole year. It'll just be 2 dates. But more information is going to be found in the portal, and per our producer, Sam, all those dates will be in the description of the show today. And of course, it's going to be plastered everywhere else. So you don't need to call agent support in 2 minutes and ask what those dates are again.
Although they're ready.
Everywhere. They are ready, and everybody's ready. And we just want you to kick off 23 on a bang and make education the most important part of your steps.
Agreed.
And stuff like
Absolutely.
that. So
I love that Carolyn said it's that. And Chantel always says you come in as strangers, you leave as friends. You've got the Facebook group together. You've learned, you're sort of in that class and you're growing together. And don't hesitate to reach out to either Carolyn or myself or both of us and say, geez, I think I'm good for this one, but am I better for this one? We're going to help you get placed in the right educational opportunity for you.
Yep. Exactly. You guys, thanks so much for being here. Safe travels to you, Bill, as you depart this weekend for top producer trip. Beth, thank you so much for your hard work. Putting this together is a bit like Jenga. And I have seen the amount of time and energy you put into it. So it's really greatly appreciated. And I know the agents feel that way as well.
Thank you. I agree with you. And I just want to add the word patience. Beth is always so patient with us. You know what it's like, Carolyn. So we're just appreciative of the patience of the team when it comes to these things, because our minds are going a mile a minute on what the benefits for you from an education standpoint. They've got to make it all work. So we appreciate them as well. Yeah. And Carolyn, safe travels to you when you're on the celebration next week.
Thank you.
Make sure that you're doing your videos for TikTok.
You betcha. Oh, I got a whole list. I've got a whole list and instructions. So,
oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Just think about all this. We have, just think what's going on. Rick and I will be on the top producer trip. Jeff's going to be on the Mississippi with agents. Beth's going to be on the Wonder. You're going to be on the Celebration. Kevin's going to be on the Wonder
too.
Yep. So I hope that you guys all have your list from Sammy that tells you what videos you should be taking, because I now have my instructions.
Food, places, and people. I think we've got it. And don't turn the camera sideways.
Right.
Exactly. You guys, safe travels to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to share this fantastic announcement with all our agents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye. You guys, I am loving the comments on here. Like I said, thanks for helping each other out with dates that you might have missed. But, again, they're going to be in the description, and they're going to be in your inbox shortly if you're a KHM agent. So, so much fun to be had in 2023. I'm so excited. Our next two guests, you guys, it's so exciting. I don't even think I can give an intro for this. They have a truly amazing product that I have been keeping my eye on. Please welcome Ann Chamberlin, VP of Sales for Scenic and Emerald Cruises, and Jason Flesher, Expedition Operations Director for Scenic Discovery Yachts. You guys, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having us. This is really fun.
Yeah, so it's a very different format than what you're probably used to. But you guys, expedition cruising, like, when you talk to agents, just 2 minutes before we came on, an agent emailed me and said, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I'm looking at expedition. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that. It's everywhere. It's so popular right now. What is it that sets Scenic apart from other lines, Ann?
The words that jump out at me are truly all inclusive. So that's one feature. You don't have to worry about a thing once you step on board a Scenic Eclipse cruise. And the other thing that jumps out at me is innovation and technology, and how that translate into an incredible guest experience because of the investment in the technology and the operations of the ship.
Yeah, I think it's really neat. And one of the words you used when we talked a few weeks ago was total package. It's kind of everything wrapped up in one. And that's so exciting that once you get on board, there's not a whole lot that you need to think about.
That's true. That's true. And also the size of the ship. We carry only 200 guests in the polar regions and 226 in the non-polar regions. And so that really sets us apart with 9 dining venues on board. So it's expedition cruising, discovery, going to places where the larger ships can't get into. And I'll have Jason speak a little bit more to the technology advances of the ship and how the guest benefits on that, because of course he works on board. But the guest experience is just fantastic, because when they get on board a Scenic ship, they find the ship so spacious. They have all those dining venues and the restaurants and bars and all the inclusions with the shore excursions. When I say total package, they don't have to worry about gratuities, because those are included. Yeah. Even their transfers to the ship are included, whether they do their air or don't do their own air. We transfer you right to the ship in style. So those are just some of the examples on total package and inclusion. And your butler, a butler to take care of every need that you might have, whether it's for getting an excursion, you wanted to sign up for something else, your butler will take care of that for you. They'll pack, they'll unpack for you. So you're just completely pampered on board a Scenic Eclipse cruise.
Jason, Ann mentioned the number of people on board depending on where you're sailing. What is it about those 26 people between non-polar and polar regions that makes a difference? Is it because of some of the activities that you do?
You mean between the 200 and 226?
Yes. Yeah. What is it with those? What's with the 26 people or 24 people?
The difference is that regulations. So when we're in Antarctica or the Arctic, they only allow 100 people at a time on shore. And it makes it easier for us when we're rotating our guests between ship and shore to do it in groups of 100 people at a time. If we have more than that, then it lessens their time on shore or whatever the excursion that we're doing is doing. So to maximize our guests' experience on their excursions, we limit it to 200, where the 226 is more when we're going to ports and we're doing land tours and so on. It doesn't affect the number of people that we have on the ship.
See, you guys, you learn something new every day. That's so interesting to me. Okay, Jason, you oversee the discovery team. This to me requires a certain person to be able to do this, especially in those polar regions. So when you're looking for people to be part of the team, what is it that you're looking for? What qualities do they need to have?
There's a lot of layers to that. One, they have to be very certified in outdoor guiding, polar guiding, being able to drive Zodiacs, also to kayaking and paddle boarding, to, being able to provide lectures, deep enrichment for our guests. So they're very well-rounded. And when I search for the right guide, the right discovery team, they come from all over the world. Usually on an average voyage, there's about 10 to 12 different countries represented within the team itself.
Wow. So the Scenic Eclipse has both above the water, right, with the helicopter and below the water with the submarine, which I don't believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is on any other vessel.
Well, we were
I
the
feel
first.
like one or the other, but usually not both.
Correct. We are still the only expedition ship, discovery yacht, that has both helicopter and submarines. They're new operators that are building new ships, kind of copying, mirroring what we have. We were the first to actually have commercial submarines on board an expedition ship and the helicopters together. But, some of the, operators now are building ships to be able to accommodate at least submarines or helicopter, but not both. And that's something that we can still offer on top of kayaking, paddleboarding, Zodiacs, and lands as well.
So when guests come on, I feel like they have to be fairly adventurous, but I would imagine there's, a handful of people that come on and might be used to some sort of cruising where they're really just experiencing it from their balcony or from the public spaces. So do you ever have those people that get on and are like, ooh, this isn't really for me, I'm good. But then they see other people doing it and they recognize, oh my gosh, I got to get up in that helicopter. Or I've got to go underneath the water in the submarine. Or, do you have those people where it's just a mindset shift during your time on board?
Yeah, it's funny you ask that, because when we're in not necessarily full discovery mode in Antarctica or the Arctic, because people who do come to those regions know what they're coming for to experience it in the helicopter submarine. But when we're in a hybrid mode or soft discovery mode, where it's a combination of land tours yet discovery at the same time, a lot of those guests don't quite understand what discovery means. And so when they experience being in a Zodiac for the first time, or flying off the ship by helicopter or the submarine, their greatest experience is, that moment in time. And we've had so many guests who come on who are, general cruisers or so on, but not necessarily expedition cruisers. They get so excited for what they just experienced that right there on the ship, they actually sign up and book trips to Antarctica or to the Arctic to get that full experience, behind them after that first initial experience.
So, Anne, that obviously sounds like that the experience in one region or even in Antarctica, we're talking repeat guests, and it's not, I got off the ship and thought about it. It sounds like this happens during travel, like it does so for so many of our clients.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be on the Eclipse in October when she was going down South America on her way to Antarctica. And I had a chance to talk to our onboard sales consultant. And she was telling me how busy she was, that guests come up immediately during the cruise and ask, not only can I book a future cruise, but can I stay on board and keep going with the vessel? So that's not uncommon that you may book your clients on board and they want to stay with the ship, and we'll find out and they'll check with the office and accommodate people that want to continue on with their discovery and their adventure. And the other thing I wanted to add to it is the camaraderie on board. And I know Jason sees a lot of this, because I felt that when you talk about the submarines and the helicopters, so you're above the water, you're under the water, you're on the water with this incredible marina platform, sports platform, and the Zodiacs and discovering that they get back to this beautiful ship. They have 9 dining venues, as I mentioned earlier, with these Japanese restaurants and night market. They're sharing their experiences with one another. So if there is a guest that wasn't quite sure that they wanted to go out to the submersible and get down into that submarine and check it all out, you have kind of this fan club around you. Come on, you can do it. Or it was the best experience I ever had. You got to try that. So you see this camaraderie develop, and people take advantage of learning more even from their fellow guests, and push themselves to their own limits, if you will, or of what they want to try and do. So
I would imagine. Oh, I'm sorry, Jason. Did I cut you off there?
No, go ahead.
I would imagine that this is just a really fun job all around, and you're kind of more on the corporate side. What is the best part about being able to sell, specifically the Scenic Eclipse product?
Oh my gosh, you see me smile. The best part about it is representing such an incredible brand. Yeah. Oh my gosh, our owner, the fact that he's investing in these vessels of this size, to have an experience like this is just, there's nothing like it. So the best part of my job is educating travel advisors, because I love to work with travel advisors. For those that are listening that know me, I've been advocating for travel advisors for all of my career. And when they get it and they walk on board or see our ship or they go through one of our education sessions, they're like, wow, I have people that have never even cruised before, but this is nothing like, what we ever thought. So I love blowing their mind when they get on the ship and they see it. It's the best part of the job. Yeah.
This seems like that destination that really just blows your mind. I mean, the videos that I've watched, even just a brochure, you just, it takes your breath away.
Yeah, people, I had no idea you had a yacht like this. So
right.
Fun.
So Jason, you got like what I would consider the best, coldest job in the world, besides Santa Claus. What is the best part of the job for you?
Besides empowering my guides and so on, but when I am on the ship, and I do bounce around between all the other ships as well, but I've been in the industry for over 40 years now, and when I can share it with guests that have never been to a region in the world and seeing it through their eyes and seeing them, remember what it was like to be a kid again, and just have that sense of wonder and adventure. That's what makes it so special for me. And I'm being genuine about that. And that's why it keeps me going and doing it for so long, because it never gets old. It's always like seeing it for the first time because I'm seeing it through them.
Right. I can imagine that there's a lot of giddiness on board, because this truly is one of those things that people probably haven't done before. They haven't seen a lot of this environment before and the animals. And so all of it has to have a huge wow factor. I'm sure there are challenges, but is there one challenge that, you kind of say, oh gosh, that's a hard part about, being in these elements, and working all the time? Is there a specific challenge that you're like, oh gosh?
That's a good one. One of the greatest challenges is when we're trying to move our guests from shore to get back onto the ship. And for instance, in Antarctica, since the ship is down there right now, and trying to convince them that after their 2000th photo of a penguin, that tomorrow they're going to get another 2000 photos. So it's okay, not live behind the camera lens, but experience and take it in. So sometimes that can be, I think, one of the biggest challenges is kind of moving people along when we got to, keep moving.
You heard at the top of the show that we were talking about the different places we were going, and Bill was going here and Beth was going here, and we all have our list of things that we needed to, and that just reminded me of that while we're all doing this, and there is an important piece to all of those videos and pictures that we're taking, we do also have to stop and sit back and take it all in and be present in the moment, so that what we don't remember about the trip is through that tiny little thing, or, doing this, or however it is you take pictures. So it's a good reminder, but I can totally see pictures, people taking, thousands of pictures of every different penguin, and then, doing it again the next day and taking 2,000 more. So that's very funny. And an interesting challenge, but in a very positive way.
Yes, absolutely.
Before I let you guys go, what is the one thing out there that you feel like all of our listeners should know about Scenic and the product that you have?
Well, I'll go next. One is the breadth of our brand. I don't think advisors are aware that we represent 2 companies, Emerald Cruises, Scenic Cruises, Rivers, and Oceans, and we have over 26 ships in our fleet. And we're building more of these ocean yachts. So we have the Eclipse 2 coming out next spring, and we have more of her like it coming out. So we'll have a whole fleet of Eclipse ships. And same with our sister company, Emerald Yacht Cruises. We have the Emerald Azura, which is only 50 suites, 100 guests, and she's going to the Caribbean. She's going to be right in our backyard. And Sakara will be joining her. So Emerald Yacht Cruises, as well as Scenic Ocean. And travel advisors, the other thing I want our listeners to know is that we love working with travel advisors, so much so that we have advance pay commission when they make a booking. It's my little sales pitch. So when they make their pay in full booking 6 months out, and a client pays in full, they get an extra savings, and we pay the commission within 21 days. Wow. So that is, we want to make sure that we get commission into the pockets of our advisors as soon as we can, because they work so hard to make that sale.
We do for sure. Jason, any final words?
Yeah, I think, for me, obviously from my realm, is there's no other ship or yacht in the world, commercial yacht, wherever you are in the world, you can experience that place from above in one of our 2 helicopters, or below the ocean on our Scenic Neptune sub, or on the water by kayak, paddleboard, Zodiacs, or on land, all being guided by some of the best, most experienced guides in the world. I'm, part of the Discovery team.
It just sounds absolutely amazing. We can't wait to get our guests on board and watch you guys grow. But I can't thank you enough. This is a conversation that we don't always get to have, especially with you, Jason. So thank you for taking the time. Good luck. Safe travels back to Antarctica in a couple days, right? Couple days, week. So, yeah. And perhaps some of our agents or our guests will see you on board shortly. So thank you both for taking the time. Happy holidays to you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, you guys, there's your challenge. Get your guests on board. So much fun. When it comes to our next guest business, she is very intentional about setting goals and measuring her progress. Here to share words of advice and encouragement, please welcome Wanda Thomas from the education team, who I know while she's been sitting here listening has been figuring out how to do a group on the Scenic Eclipse.
You know it.
Am I right or am I right? I know.
I'm like,
that's what
look,
we
I
were
want to
doing.
get submerged. I want to go into a submarine. It's like, ooh, this sounds pretty cool. I'm liking this.
I'm telling you, I love doing my pre-show research. Let me tell you, because I can get drawn into websites and details, and if I should have asked them about this, because I seem to remember in our pre-show call they actually talked about like maybe even identifying a new species.
Wow.
Under the water in the submarine. I'm going to follow up on that because I don't think I'm making that up. I think that actually did happen. But anyways, you are here today because you are very, very intentional about not only the things that you do within your business, but measuring your success and your progress. So let's talk about, you say the words, it's important to inspect what you expect. So what does this mean?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things about that statement, I mean, it's a statement that you hear on a regular basis within the business community. And really the definition, if you would, is simply that, number one, set goals, have a purpose, have a vision, have a mission of where you're trying to go. And the only way that you know you're getting there is if you're tracking and measuring that information. And so inspecting what you expect, you've set a goal, you know where you're trying to go. You've hopefully used, as we teach in Bootcamp 1, the SMART acronym, if you would. You've set specific goals. You've made sure they're measurable. You've tried to make sure they're attainable, that you haven't made them so big that it doesn't make sense, etc. Also, that it's realistic in that setting. Thinking about your timetable, and I've got kids to take to school, and I've got this to do and that to do. So, it makes sense as far as to how you set them and the size in which you set them at, and then that they're timely. So again, taking all those considerations of, those of us out there that are working another full-time job, because as we all know, travel, even if you say it's part-time, it's never part-time, it's a full-time gig. So
It is.
we're working 2 full-time jobs, basically. That time is a very important thing. And, one of the things that I've seen is that definitely for those that are trying to juggle and balance, I mean, we all have a work-life balance challenge, but trying to balance things, we feel sometimes defeated that, wow, I saw this person post that their sales this year have been XYZ. Oh my God, have I made 2 bookings? I guess I'm not doing anything. Or somebody made Pinnacle and you're like, they already made Pinnacle? I know, I was in boot camp with them, or whatever the case may be. And we just get so defeated, and it takes an emotional toll. And the concept of inspecting what you expect is, if you take the time to start with, to sit down and set goals based on that SMART concept, you will always know if you are moving forward. It's not about being where everybody else is, because everybody else has different timetables, different things to do. Some of us have kids, like myself. I have none. I have a 4-legged son. That's it. Some of us can work, 24/7. Not everybody has that. But if you set those goals based on that SMART concept, then you're able to say, let me not get bogged down in what I'm seeing posted or the dollar amount or whatever the case may be. I'm able to now go back and say, okay, I set a goal that within the next 2 months, I'm going to increase my client base by 25 individuals, or I'm going to close 2 cruises or whatever. You make it very specific, make it specific to a time frame, so that when you get there, you're able to stop and go back and say, okay, I met that goal. It took me 2 months to get to here, but that was the goal I set. I knew it was realistic because of all the other things I had going on. And so here I am moving forward. I think we missed that piece. That success, of course, is different to everyone. But the main point of success, in my opinion, is, are you moving forward? And if you set those goals and are able to measure them, visualize them, etc., and see that I am making progress, you are being successful. It does not happen overnight. And I think that's one of the things that will drive us all crazy, is that we expect things to just boom, happen just like that.
Well, and I think everyone's goals look different too.
Yep.
You know, for some of it's not, for some agents, it's not necessarily about bookings. Do you know one of my goals? This is going to sound crazy to probably many of you. I like my business checking account to stay at the same dollar amount. I have a minimum that I like it to be at, and I don't like it to go below it. I'm great if it goes above it, but it has to stay at least there. And this is all I need. It's not a booking goal, but it keeps me in check financially to say, if I do that trip or if I spend that, I have to really weigh my options and determine, if I do it here, am I going to get that return on investment? Because I like to see that bank balance to be a certain number. So mine's not always a booking. It's a very specific financial number for me. Now, you love your tools. You are very big. So what are some of the tools that you really like to help to measure some of the things that we're doing within our business?
Absolutely. Well, I do a lot of Excel tracking, but one of the things, before I even go there, thinking about the tools that KHM provide us, the CRM itself is an excellent place to start, because if you don't know this, you can go into your CRM. If I remember correctly, I'm doing this from memory. You go into your CRM, you go up by your profile picture. You can go in, and I think there's a section that says business, if I'm remembering this correctly. Once you go in there, there's a section where you can actually, there's a little toggle that gives you the ability to do this. But you click that toggle, then what's going to happen is on your dashboard on the right, which I use regularly, you will literally see how you are progressing to a goal. So if you start out, and I do that regularly every year, as well as modify throughout the year, but each year I go in at the beginning of the year, I sit down and I say, okay, number one, what were my trends? So as I can look back now that I've been in business 7 years, I can look back and say, you know, August, as an example, I'm typically, it's my birthday month. I'm not selling a whole bunch, doing a whole bunch in August, as an example. I'm doing me. So I know August is one of those months where not a lot's going to happen. So I know that's one of my trends. I also know my personal time that I love to travel is in the fall. I love to travel in September, October. Yeah. The kids are back in school, yada, yada, yada. That's my time. So again, my sales are typically not high in those particular months. So because I know that, I can now sit down and say, as I'm mapping out whatever my large goal is. So let's say, as an example, and no, you can't see my erase board behind me, but on my erase board behind me, I've got written $1 million. And that was my goal for this year. My stretch goal for this year was to get there. I've never gotten close to that. I've done pretty good this year, but never gotten close to that. But that was my stretch goal, so I could always see it behind me. But I took that and said, okay, if I'm going to get that $1 million, what is it going to take month over month over month to get there? Yep. And I literally broke that down based on those trends. Again, August, nothing's happening. October, September, I'm probably traveling. So that whole window, probably a wash. But I know that, you know, Thanksgiving, the Black Friday that we just went through is one of the biggest sales times. I know I'm going to really push then. I know the first of the year with Wave, I'm pushing, blah, 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 blah. Those things, knowing those trends, I'm able to break that $1 million down and say, okay, I do 10% of my business this time, 5% this time, so forth and so on, so that it all ultimately equals 100%. Okay. And then I plug that in. And so I can literally go back and say, okay, tomorrow's the first. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be going, okay, December's goal is this, you know? Yep. And if I've been short in some particular month, I can say, okay, plus this. If I'm over, then hey, that's gravy. I hope I'm going to do a lot better, you know, et cetera. But long story short, by using that tool in the CRM, you can literally visualize, for my visual learners, see how you're progressing. It also, in the background, one of the other things I love graphs. And one of the graphs at the bottom, I think, has a blue and a yellow bar graph. And it'll show you, like, last year, this month, this is what you did. And then it'll be on top of that, it'll show you what you did this year. So visually, if you can see that you succeeded and exceeded last year, you're moving forward.
Yes, yes. It's not just a fluke.
Exactly.
It's not just a fluke.
Correct. Yep. You can visually see that. But the other thing is, you can take that and accumulate it. So as an example, you don't beat yourself up because you didn't meet a specific month. I like to think about quarters as well. So if I didn't do so well in January, I didn't meet the goal I set for January, but at the end of March, really the total for that 3-month period, January, February, March, I have exceeded it. I still am moving forward. I've done it well. And again, depending on how long you've been in business, you can look at that from a year-over-year standpoint, because you don't want to beat yourself up. I go back and I can see, as an example, when I started with KHM in 2017, if I remember correctly, it was a hobby. I mean, it wasn't really a business. It was a hobby. And I've been building it since then. I literally have spread out what my numbers have been throughout that period of time. So I can go back and say, okay, even though I might not have made this time, last year or 3 years ago, wow, I've done so much better than I was when I first started. So, the CRM is one tool, but definitely I also mentioned in there Excel spreadsheets. I have a wealth of Excel spreadsheets. I love calculators. So I've built all kinds of stuff that automatically calculates things so that I can see that. And like I said, I like graphs. So with my Excel workbooks, I've also created graphical components so that I can see that. So a lot of the tools are tools that I've created myself, that some others have gotten and used as well. But I love, like you said, tools and ways to kind of track it. I like visual. Visual is a big thing for me, is to be able to see the visual. And I've always said, because I'm a numbers head, numbers don't lie. I mean, numbers just don't lie.
Well, and I think it's a really good way. You talk about how this is how I am in August. I know because it's my birthday month, and I know in September, October, this is how it's going to be. I think seeing that on paper and in a graph form, me personally, because I'm visual, I like to be able to then say, okay, I really shouldn't travel over Thanksgiving personally, because that Friday is when I do the majority of my next year's sales. For some people, that might be the case. And okay, over Christmas, New Year's sales, that's when I do the majority for this part of the year. Absolutely. And so in all honesty, you can kind of start to tailor your travel schedule around when you're starting to see those big bumps and the declines. Because, for years, I have just kind of hidden on Black Friday because I don't want to deal with that. And then okay, Cyber Monday, perfect, I'll do that. But when you start to get those phone calls in, you do want to be available. And that graph's going to show you. That graph's going to show you when you are truly selling and putting yourself out there. So we do have to go, but I feel like we've got a whole nother show concept we could talk about this forever. But
I could.
It is almost 2023. So we wanted to put it in your mindset to really sit down and start thinking about what this looks like. If 2023 as a whole is too big, start with Q1. What does that look like for you? And what do you want to
just start? That's the key. Just start.
And it can be an educational goal. It can be completing a training. It can be going to an event, or it can be truly sitting down and saying, I'm going to really dig deep into my numbers. So, well, thank you so much. Do you want to stick around for our gratitude?
Sure.
All right. So you guys, we had such a fantastic turnout for gratitude submissions. I've got my bucket here with our all of the people that submitted. We're going to draw. Robbie, so great to see you on. I see you here today. We've missed you. I just wanted to read just a few that stuck out to me because I thought they were really neat and kind of hit all different areas. But we have Elizabeth Dyer, who we actually got to meet at a boot camp event. And I believe I might have had as a student here in Littleton, Colorado. We couldn't quite figure out if that was the case, but I'm thinking it might have been. So she says, I'm thankful that after years of wondering where I fit and what I could do to contribute, I found a path that utilizes my strengths and my skills and interests perfectly. Thank you, KHM, for all your help and guidance. You have been an invaluable asset. I love when people find the puzzle pieces that fit. It makes me so happy because this is the way I really felt about when I joined the industry as well. It all of a sudden was this really bright light. So we have Carrie Farrell as well. So she sent hers to us on Veterans Day. So she said, I would like to take a moment and express my gratitude for those who have served at our military. I've always honored their service, but I'm even more aware of the sacrifice they make now that my son is currently deployed in the Marine Corps. She does a quote from Cynthia Ozek. We often take for granted the very things that most deserve our gratitude, those that serve our country, freedom, jobs, friendships, time spent with family, health, and the sound of someone's voice. So many more. We need to remember to be grateful and show our gratitude, which I think so many of us do because it's so part of the KHM culture. But I just love that one. And then finally, Angela Lindsay. I'm overwhelmingly grateful for my host agency. Switching my travel business over to KHM Travel Group was the best decision I made for my business, not being a good match with my previous host. Once the pandemic came, I thought it was the perfect time to rebrand my business. The rebranding included finding a host agency that had morals and values that were in line with my own. I had the support and family atmosphere I've always wanted. Thank you. Isn't that sweet?
That's
I just
awesome.
really, so much love and gratitude. And we had so many great submissions. We're going to go ahead and pick our winner. And the winner here is going to get a fun KHM box of goodies. And here we go, Sean Hayes. And I remember, Sean, your submission as well. It was lovely. So Sean, you will be getting a gift box from KHM Travel Group. You guys, it was so wonderful, and we appreciate all your submissions and your participation. Don't forget, we're going to be looking for your uploaded videos, and Wanda's going to be the first one to post, right, Wanda?
I gotta get my friend Gabby first. She got to do it with me.
There's Gabby. Hi, Gabby.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you all for joining us today. Thanks to our sponsors, Apple Leisure Group as our overall sponsor. Next week, you guys, I'm celebrating my birthday on board the Carnival Celebration, brand new ship. And so you're going to join me on board as we learn about this amazing vessel. We have some marketing tips on taking photos, and the tables are going to turn when VA from the education team turns the tables on me and interviews me instead of her. So I hope you'll all join us. We've got a plan B if the internet connection isn't great, but thank you so much for being here today. Thanks, Jason and Ann, for being our guests as well. Wanda, thanks so much, and we'll see you soon. You guys have a great rest of your day.